All eyes focused on Athens, Georgia for an SEC rivalry like no other. The Crimson Tide and Gym Dogs, the oldest rivalry in gymnastics. Suzanne Yocklin with 7 national titles, Sarah Patterson with 4. It's going to be a party tonight in Athens. Crimson Tide and Gym Dogs next.
Mississippi State wins. Here comes the ball.
It's the oldest rivalry in SEC gymnastics. Georgia and Alabama take it to the mats here in Athens. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stegman Coliseum. I'm Corey Kessler. Georgia and Alabama have met 109 times in gymnastics, and the storied conference matchup should get as heated as it ever has been this afternoon. Georgia comes in as the second-ranked team in the country. Alabama is the third-ranked team. 2 top teams with several great athletes. Our Lori Strong-Ballard has a complete breakdown of what we can expect this afternoon.
Nationwide, this is the most anticipated matchup and a rivalry that is steeped in tradition. The University of Georgia head coach Suzanne Yocklin has held the reins here in Athens for 24 years, and Sarah Patterson has led the Tide for 28 years. Georgia and Alabama have met each other more than any other opponent in the country. So without a doubt, this rivalry is great for the future of collegiate gymnastics, but it also has a firm hold in its history as well.
It's week after week, we're going against the top teams in the country, but certainly the competition against Alabama always brings out the best in both teams. And I think it's just because our rivalry far transcends more than just a competitive arena. It goes into recruiting and promotions, attendance, academics, you know, and for 20 years it's been going on. So it's a very emotional competition and one that both teams really want to come out as the winner.
I think if you look across the country, facilities, marketing and promotion, all the things that go into success, I think people have looked at what maybe Georgia, Utah, and Alabama have, and I think they have decided that, well, they want a little bit of it too, so they're placing emphasis on their sports. And I think that while this is a tremendous rivalry, you know, between the institutions, I think it has done nothing but propel the sport of women's gymnastics and women's sports in general.
Over 10,000 fans will witness this competition here at Stegman Coliseum, and so many more across the country will anxiously await the final scores. This is a night that both Georgia and Alabama hope that their superstars come forward with a peak performance. For Georgia, they'll rely heavily on their go-to girl, Katie Heenan, who has won 5 of the last 6 all-around titles, and the defending national all-around champion, Courtney Kupets, is back in the lineup and will compete in the all-around for the first time this season. And Alabama boasts the top all-arounder in the country in Cassie Price and the best floor worker in Morgan Dennis. These 2 freshmen will get their first taste of the Georgia-Alabama heat. So for sure, this is a big test for both Georgia and Alabama, and everyone else. It's a taste of what's to come at the SECs and the National Championship Finals later this year.
Oh, Sarah Patterson, the final strategy is ready. So is Suzanne Yocklin's crew. She knows what to do. She's used to it in Stegman. It's going to be a party tonight, as we said before. The football team is out. Come back next. Young and old packing it into Stegman Coliseum for the Gym Dogs and Crimson Tide Alumni Night tonight. And there she is, Lori Strong-Ballard, being honored along with the crew. How'd that feel, Lori?
Well, Corey, it's been a long time since I walked out on the floor here at Stegman Coliseum, and it's always a great night when Georgia and Alabama get together, and it's a great night when you can see some of your old teammates.
And a national champion as well. Congratulations on the honor, Lori. Let's take a look now at the vault lineup for the Gym Dogs.
Well, this is an extremely strong event for Georgia in terms of their difficulty and dynamics, but Tiffany Tolnay had some major difficulties in warm-ups. She will need to put that behind her, and Georgia's looking for some great landings here.
And here's Gym Dog freshman Marcia Newby, 5'7", ready for the vault.
She is a dynamic vaulter, and she has a huge one planned here. Yurchenko half front layout, excellent job.
She already has a 9.9 this season as a freshman, remarkable score. Her team likes the start that she's given them.
Marcia maintains her power but takes her time with her technique and is very disciplined in her landing position.
Well, how about a 9.9 for the freshman from Virginia Beach? That ties her career best. Very well done. How about Bama on bars, Lori?
Well, 4 to 6 are underclassmen. This is a young team, but they are anchored by the 2004 Olympic silver medalist.
And here's the sophomore, Cassie Martin, She's used to perfection, a 4.0 student as a freshman.
That's amazing to maintain that level of academics as well as this high level of athletics. She scored a 9.925 on this event just a few weeks ago against Auburn, so she's strong on this event. Tkachev right into a pack salto, a switch kip on the low bar, not often seen these days in gymnastics. Hitting a nice handstand position. Preparing for her combination into her dismount. Giant half, front giant half. Double tuck, nice solid landing, a clean routine to start off for them.
And high fives for everybody, and she really stuck that landing, as we have said, is going to be very important, Lori.
And we'll take a look at that landing here. There's the dismount, well above the bar, and not a single movement. 1/10 deduction if you take a step, and those will add up when you're counting 5 athlete scores.
A 9.85 for Cassie Martin on the bars. As we move to the all-around winner in 5 of 6 competitions, Katie Heenan for Georgia on vault.
Katie's known for her consistency, her durability, and her sticky feet. Almost always she has great landings. Just a tiny hop under Yurchenko layout full. That vault is scored out of a 10, and it will get a high score tonight.
One more time.
Beautiful power, height, and distance in this vault. That's what the judges are looking for. Her feet just slightly bounce up, maybe a 0.5 deduction right there.
A 9.950 for Katie Heenan. And when we come back, Cassie Price, the #1 all-arounder in the country, and Tiffany Tolnay goes for Georgia. There's the future of Georgia gymnastics here at Stegman Coliseum, just one of the many, more than 10,000 fans on hand. Cassie Price, the #1 all-around gymnast in the country, only a freshman for Bama.
She has been absolutely outstanding this year. Not a huge surprise, she's quite a talented athlete. Starting with a huge combination here, toe on half into a Hindorf. So crucial the timing is on that connection. She'll do another toe on full, back down to the low bar, a high to low bar transition that's called a bail to handstand. The athletes are required to do at least 2 bar changes.
Her parents, Paul and Anjanette, on hand watching the meet.
Finishing with a double layout, just a tiny movement of the leg, a very strong routine in terms of its difficulty. The execution was nice. This combination was huge. A toe on half into a Hindorf release element. She gets combination bonus as well as big difficulty.
And a 9.825 for the heralded freshman from Alabama. Here's Tiffany Tolnay next up for Georgia. She had some trouble in warm-ups, Lori. Let's take a look.
Well, earlier she fell running down the runway, hurt her elbow, and then this happened. Her hand slipped. She bounces back to her head. They were concerned about a neck injury. Every precaution was taken. The medical staff came out, checked her out, and she did get back up and finish her warm-up, Corey. Outstanding.
As a former gymnast, Lori, how do you react to that, and how do you respond once you get into the competition itself?
It can be mentally disturbing, but it's part of the sport, and it's something that she's going to have to tough out here to continue with a safe competition. And here's her vault in competition. She does water it down slightly. She's capable of doing the Yurchenko 1.5. She chose to do the full, which is probably a smart choice considering her really rough warm-up. It is still scored out of a 10, and you can see it's monstrous in terms of its height and distance, and will still score big for Georgia.
A 9.875, so responds like the All-American she is. And the vault scores for Georgia look like this. You see them. A pretty good start for the Gym Dogs. Katie Heenan's 9.95 leads the way. She could be on her way to another all-around title. Meanwhile, here's Taryn Humphrey, the Olympic medalist for Bama.
And she won a silver medal on this event, her best event, and this year she scored a 9.9 or better in every competition. Hop full, right into another release element here. It's a Ginger. Good job in keeping her legs glued together. Giant full, down to the low bar with a bail to handstand, toe circle, back up to the high bar. Just the dismount, gaining speed into the double layout, tiny hop on the landing. A pretty clean routine for Taryn.
Congratulations from her teammates and her coaches for the junior from Missouri.
She was the 2005 national champion on this event. She had a nice combination of release elements there, a hop full into a ginger. Nice job in completing the full turn in the hop full.
So a 9.85 for Taryn Humphrey. That score leads the way for Bama on bars, along with Cassie Martin on the bars for Alabama, Lori.
Both teams are pushing each other to the limit, and they're trying to hang on to every 10th, because that's what it's going to take to win when you've got the number 2 and 3 team going head-to-head.
Bama leaving the floor with smiles, but it's Georgia in Stegman Coliseum with the slight edge when we come back. Georgia fans pulling out all the stops for this storied rivalry in Stegman Coliseum tonight. Gym Dogs and Bama. Here's the lineup for Georgia on bars, Lori.
Georgia had hoped to have Kelsey Erickson, their top bar worker, back in the lineup. She tore her plantar fascia a couple weeks ago and is still unable to run for her mount. However, Georgia, like Alabama, is anchored by an Olympic medalist, Courtney Kupets, who's also the defending national champion. And up first here is Grace Taylor, just a freshman, doing an outstanding job for Georgia this year.
Coach Yocklin says she loves her feistiness and competitive spirit. In one meet earlier this year, she went over to the Arkansas fans and said, "We don't appreciate you booing us."
Excellent job there on her Comanche salto. Very unique element you don't often see in the collegiate level. Oh, beautiful position in her double layout, nails the landing. That's the passion that this Georgia team loves in Grace Taylor. She was very vocal about wanting to be a Georgia gym dog, and boy, has she come through. Beautiful double layout, stretch, tight body position all the way through, and a nailed landing. 9.925, that's a huge score early in this Georgia lineup.
And a vote of confidence from a coach as well. How about the vault lineup for Alabama, who will be looking to make up some ground here, Lori? What can we look for?
The key will be crisp, clean body positions, and of course, those stuck landings.
Well, let's see the freshman. 4'11" freshman Ricky Lebegurn for Bama.
Ricky will compete a Yurchenko full. It's scored out of a 10. Nice job and a very clean landing. Holding on to every single 10th at this point in the competition. She is so quick and aggressive and attacks this vault, and a great landing.
A 9.875 for the freshman from Bama. Now to the Gym Dogs, Tiffany Tolnay, who actually is teaming up with her childhood idols with the Georgia team. Listen to what she has to say.
You know, these are the girls that were on my wall, you know, growing up. These are the girls that I looked up to and, you know, inspired me and stuff. And now that I'm on a team with them, it's just, it's great. I don't even have any words.
A special moment in Tiffany's career, no doubt, and that's one of the great things about collegiate gymnastics. Because gymnastics is such a young sport, these athletes peak so young. Some of them are already big-time superstars when they come to the collegiate level.
So it's like a clean slate. They have to compete all over again at a different level.
Now everyone from level 10 athletes to the elite and the Olympic team members are competing under the same rules. It is an even playing ground, and athletes like Tiffany can compete against the Courtney Kupets of the world. Tiffany doing a great job, and remember, she did have that crash on vault. She takes a huge step on the landing of the dismount. A clean routine throughout, but the dismount, it looks like, Corey, she was trying to be a little conservative, making sure that she lands on her feet. She does over-rotate. She didn't want to take that chance of sitting down.
So maybe that fall early in warm-ups was still in her mind, but a 9.775 for Tiffany Tolnay. Now to Bama's Cassie Price on vault, the heralded freshman, #1 in the country. We've said it before in the all-around competition as a freshman.
Performing the Yurchenko layout full. A little slower in rotation. She had to pike down the landing, and Corey, it looks like her hand slipped on the vaulting table. This is a new texture on the vaulting table. It's like a basketball in terms of its feel, and if you chalk your hands can slip. And yes, Cassie's hand slipped slightly there, and it reduced her height and amplitude on the vault.
But she recovered enough to get a 9.825. When we come back, the Olympic bronze medalist for Georgia, Courtney Kupets. Welcome back to Stegman Coliseum for the oldest rivalry in SEC gymnastics, Georgia and Alabama. They've met 109 times. Katie Heenan knows about energy and intensity. The all-around champ in 6 of 7 meets, Lori.
And currently she is ranked 2nd in the all-around in those national rankings. Tonight she's had a good start with a 9.95 on vault. This is one of her strong events. Toe on half to a Jaeger. Back down to the low bar, doing a nice job and hitting the handstands, toe on to handstand.
Coach Jacqueline calls her the heart and soul of this team.
Katie's got some great experience. She won a bronze medal at the 2001 World Championships on this event, really trying to hang on to those landings, just a slight movement of one foot. Katie stays focused through this entire routine, has some nice difficulty, a combination into her release element and into the dismount here, the double front. It's a blind landing, so she does not see the mat before the feet hit, and that is so difficult to stick.
A 9-9 should keep her in the hunt for the all-around title in this meet. Now we move to Alabama and Morgan Dennis for Alabama.
She's ranked #1 on the floor. She's known for her explosive power, and that pays off on this event. Take a look at the amplitude on this Yurchenko layout full. Huge height, beautiful distance. It will be a big score for Alabama here. Not a problem in terms of slipping. She gets a good grip on the vaulting table, and that allows her to really get a huge repulsion off the vaulting table for big height.
A 9.925, her best score on vault, and that will lead the way for the Crimson Tide, the best score on that apparatus.
Alabama was hoping to make up some ground here, but when you compare Georgia to Alabama's vault, Alabama scored just a little bit lower than Georgia.
Meanwhile, Georgia's Courtney Kupets, the scores are increasing for Georgia, a 9.9 and a 9.925 so far.
Courtney looking to build on that. She's added more difficulty to this routine. The added difficulty comes right here, a toe onto Tkachev. Well done. Shoot over 2 handstand, right back up to the high bar. Excellent job hitting that last handstand. Hop full, fully completed, right into Tkachev. Another solid handstand. Not a mistake so far, just the dismount. Oh, excellent height. Nails her double layout. That was outstanding. A brilliant bar routine by Courtney Kupets.
Listen to this crowd. They're going wild.
Perfection is the ultimate goal in this sport, and Courtney raised the bar, added the difficulty, and tonight, I really don't see a lot of deductions in this routine, if any. Take a look at that dismount. She pops it up for huge height, way above the bar, looks for the landing, and not a single movement there. You can see Suzanne on the left-hand side of the screen jumping up and down. They know this is one of the great ones. Courtney is the defending national champion, and right here she shows you why.
And now it's all up to the judges.
That's it, a 10!
A perfect 10, the first time, Roy, since ran 2004 for this team.
The ultimate perfection, what a huge accomplishment for Courtney.
A historic moment for Courtney and everyone in Stegman Coliseum, a sold-out arena to watch that performance.
Over 10,000 fans are witnessing the ultimate in gymnastics, a perfect 10, and it's been a long time coming.
And that could be the turning point in this meet.
Jay Clark, the associate head coach and her bar coach, you know that feels good for him as well.
And Georgia riding the momentum of that performance by Courtney Kupets. Obviously the top score on bars for Georgia, Lori.
They finished strong, and Tolnay's mistake won't hurt them. They'll drop that score.
And the crowd's still abuzz after the 10 by Courtney Kupets. You could see more if you stay with us on FSN. Welcome back to Athens. Fans on their feet, football players painting their faces. Hey, we've seen a perfect night so far.
We've seen the first 2 rotations, Lori. Unbelievable match so far. 2 things stand out. Tiffany Tolnay had a mishap on the vault in practice. It seemed to affect her performance in the first 2 rotations, and also a perfect 10 by Courtney Kupets for Georgia.
What a scary miss for Tiffany, definitely, in the warm-up. Our hearts jumped out of our bodies seeing her lay on the mat. They checked out her neck. It looked like she was all right. She will definitely be stiff in the next couple days, but it was a great comeback for her to come back for the team and compete on vault. A little shaky here and there, but still a strong comeback for her. And what an outstanding routine by Courtney. The first 10 since 2004 at the SEC Championships for a Georgia gymnast. And, you know, she was the bronze medalist at the Olympic Games and a phenomenal bar worker, and it showed today. She nailed that landing and a well-deserved perfect 10.
What a thrill it was to be here and see that perfect 10. Thanks, Lori.
So Alabama knows they have their work cut out for them with the floor exercise coming up
but they're #1 as a team in that event. Here's Cassie Price, the team leader.
I think we just go out there and have so much fun. I mean, floor is one of the best events to show off, and we just really focus on trying to express it to the crowd. And I think that really gets the fans into it, which makes us even more excited when we go out and compete on floor.
Unfortunately, Cassie won't be able to get into her floor routine tonight. The coaches have decided to rest her. She is the #1 all-arounder in the country, ranked #2 on the floor, but look out for Morgan Dennis, their big gun. She is #1 in the country on this event.
But here we're going to see Ashley O'Neal scored a career-high 9.875 on the floor. And her prep highlights include competing for an Atlanta, Georgia Gymnastics Academy.
She's from Kennesaw, Georgia. I'm sure she has a lot of fans watching her tonight, some friends and family in the audience. She's their leadoff performer, opening with a front to a double back. Pretty solid on the landing. Obviously, Alabama needs a hit from Ashley, but they'd also like a solid score that they can really get a good base and start to build on those scores. Second tumbling pass. She tumbles forward, front full to a front layout. The athletes want to show a lot of their personality in the dance. The music is chosen to fit their style and personality.
Is it tough to follow at 10 from the opposing team and still show the same amount of energy when you know you're trailing?
Well, something interesting that Sarah Patterson tells her athletes when they come into an opposing team's gym is that you just need to pretend that there's 10,000 fans cheering for you. They can actually feed off the energy that was created in this Coliseum from that perfect 10.
And it seems Ashley's doing just that.
And Cassie talked about their love of this event. They love to perform year in and year out, finishing with a strong double pike. Plenty of energy on that very difficult last tumbling pass. Strong start for Alabama with Ashley O'Neal. And a perfect style for a lead-off routine. Nothing too risky or fancy, but a solid, clean routine from start to finish.
So a 9.850 for Ashley O'Neal, the score they will hope to build on to get back into this meet. The beam team for Georgia is next up. There's the lineup. Coach Yocklin says this could be the best beam team they have ever fielded.
Their quality is world class, and it'll be interesting to see how Courtney Coupette's response from that 10. Will it be a motivation or will it be a distraction?
How about for Tiffany Tolnay?
Remember, Tiffany had the crash on vault. This is an event that she must maintain incredible focus. It's 4 inches wide. She has huge difficulty. Beautiful execution and amplitude on that switch side, going above and beyond that 180-degree split the judges are looking for.
Interesting to note, before coming to Georgia, she had never been to a college gymnastics meet. Now she knows what a meet is all about.
And absolutely loving it. Suzanne calls her the rock star. Says that everything needs to be in its place before competition, the right food. She needs to do her right preparations. Certainly paying off. She's having a tremendous year this year. So far, maintaining that focus. Switch leap to a straddle jump. Huge difficulty planned here. Tumbling into the dismount. Back handspring. Back handspring, 2-foot, punches into a double back and nails the landing. Incredible. This Georgia team is on fire right now. We saw her perform this against Florida just a couple weeks ago, and she took 2 or 3 steps out of it. Tonight, she made the correction and absolutely nailed the landing on the most difficult dismount in collegiate gymnastics.
A 9.950, the ability to put the fall and warm-ups behind her, served her well there on beam. Here's Taryn Humphrey for Alabama on floor.
The Tide can definitely feel the pressure now. They know that Georgia is hitting over there on the balance beam, looking to make up ground here. Taryn opening with a double Arabian, beautiful height and a strong landing. It's required for the athletes to do 2 dance elements connected. She met the requirement with those leaps. Very intricate tumbling pass coming up. For 1.5 twist, she steps out, continues to tumble into a 2.5 twist. Just a small stumble mistake at the ending there, but a 1/10 deduction.
Taryn carrying the torch for her teammates such as Cassie Price, who says, hey, she was my idol as a kid. She was on my wall on a poster when I was young.
Just like we saw on the Georgia team, some of these athletes are competing with their idols. Taryn knows all about being a superstar. She was an Olympic athlete and now a leader on this Alabama team. A little bit of a different style in her dance this year. She's known more for her ballet style. This is a little funkier, finishing strong with a double pike. Solid on difficulty. The dance presentation was good, but the landing air on the middle pass may be more than what Alabama is able to give up right now.
A 9.875 for the Olympic silver medalist, Taryn Humphrey. Well, coming up, can Courtney Kupets do it again, another 10? And will Bama bounce back? The top-rated performer, Morgan Dennis, on floor, leads when we come back. Welcome back to Athens. Ian Smith, Kevin Perez, and Ben Boyd, football players on the Georgia team, painting their bodies before today's competition. Here's Courtney Kupets on the beam. Remember, she just got a 10 on the bars.
Courtney's competing in the all-around tonight for the first time this season. She's the defending all-around champion. This will be a key event on whether or not she can win an all-around title tonight. Opening with a back handspring, layout, solid. She's so aggressive and so confident on that very difficult tumble series. Front aerial, tiny bobble right there. 1/2. Remember, Tiffany Tolnay scored a 9.95 earlier. She set her up very well to get a huge score here.
She scored a 9.975 on the beam this year.
You hear the music in the background. The athletes don't actually perform their routine to music like on the floor exercise. That's just background music. Quite often the home team, though, kind of decides what music they would like and prefer to be playing in the background. Huge dismount, just like Tiffany's. 2 back handsprings to a double back. She upgraded the difficulty on her dismount this week. You can see her continuing to raise the bar week in and week out. Excellent job on the landing.
A small bobble on the routine, but still an incredible performance. A 9.925 for Courtney Kupets on the beam. Here's Morgan Dennis, the floor exercise for Alabama. Remember, #1 is a team in the country on the floor.
And this is the #1 athlete in the country on the floor. And you'll see why with this opening tumbling pass. It's huge. Highest difficulty here, it's a double layout. She floats through the air, 2 rotations with a straight body. That's tough stuff. Morgan has the ability to follow in the footsteps of another Alabama great, Ashley Miles, who was a national floor champion.
Coach Patterson said she's going to have to rely on her freshmen throughout the season. And Morgan is one of them.
Working well to the music as she heads into her second tumbling pass. Front full, front tuck. A great part in the floor routine. She can really play up to her teammates who are standing on the sidelines cheering her on. Yelling a little extra loud, heading into that final tumbling pass. It's always difficult. She makes it look easy. This will be a big score and certainly the boost Alabama needs right now.
Yes, they'll need a big score, and they're relying on their National Honor Society student to get the job done.
She floats through this opening pass, so difficult. 2 rotations in that laid out position. You have to get big time height.
And she does. A 9.925 will lead Alabama in the floor exercise.
Bama can throw at that 9.75, and the rest are over a 9.8 and topped off with that huge 9.925.
Back to the 5-time all-around winner this year, Katie Heenan for Georgia on beam. Her top score in 07, a 9.9, Lori.
Since her freshman year, she has been known as the go-to girl at the SEC Championships in 2005. She nailed the beam routine and secured that team title for them, nailing her back handspring layout. Katie's attitude is absolutely amazing. She's always upbeat and positive, and that comes through in her gymnastics as well. She also looks confident in everything that she does. She told us earlier today that she uses keywords and phrases, especially on balance beam. Like right here for her front tuck, she'd tell herself, keep your chest up, bend your knees, absorb that landing. All of those key phrases and words help the athlete stay concentrated and focused on the event. You have to block out the world around you, especially when you're competing in front of 10,000 fans.
Seems to be doing it very well in this routine.
Katie's preparing for her dismount. She's looking for a straight round off, a solid punch off the beam, and a stuck landing.
To think that beam is just 4 inches wide. She nailed that landing.
So focused through this entire routine. Tiny hop on the landing, but so solid. This will be a strong score. Once again for Georgia, they are on a rampage here.
A 9.9 for Katie Heenan, and that will lead the way for Georgia on beam.
Boy, Tiffany's mental strength has been huge tonight for Georgia. After that fall on vault, she came back for a solid 9.95, and that proves a lot to her team here.
A lot to look forward to for everybody here in Stegman Coliseum as the Gym Dogs breaking away from Alabama. The Gym Dogs are rocking the house, and they're happy to see it here in Athens, Georgia. Back at Stegman Coliseum, Corey Kessler along with Lori Strong-Ballard. Alabama up next on beam. Sarah Patterson giving some encouragement to her team. Here's the lineup for Alabama on beam.
And unfortunately for the Tide, this has been their weakest event this year. Alabama trails Georgia, so they need 5 great hits.
Here's freshman Casey Overton, a member of the U.S. national team. She's 5'2", from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
We've talked about Alabama having a young team, and Casey made her debut into the competitive lineup just last week against Kentucky. She competed on beam and floor. She's relying not on her competitive experience, but the many, many numbers that she has been practicing in the gym. Sarah also told us that this would be a huge test for her young team to see how they handled the pressure of going up against the defending national champions in their house.
Also a National Honor Society student. She's got the discipline.
Discipline's important not only in gymnastics, but this event especially. To be disciplined with all of your landings, keeping your shoulders and arms square over the beam. So far, a solid routine, a confident routine for Casey. Back handspring, gainer, full dismount. It's a hit, but will the score be big enough? Here's the dismount. She adds some difficulty by adding that back handspring before the layout, full twist. Only her second competition ever for Alabama, and a great start for them.
A 9.875. She tops her best. Suzanne Yocklin's got her best up next on floor.
Look for Grace Taylor and her personality. She's quickly becoming a crowd favorite here, and Courtney Coupets will compete on the floor for the first time since the beginning of the season. She's in the hunt for an all-around title.
Here's Grace Taylor, just a freshman, 5-foot freshman. She's competed all over Europe, so she's got experience in big-time competitions, Lori.
And experience is what you need when you are going up against the number 3 team in the country. And your biggest rival, Alabama. This is her first experience competing against Alabama.
In this storied traditional rivalry, 110th meeting for these two teams.
With back to a double pike, beautiful landing and a huge smile. Excellent execution on her switch leap and her switch ring. Playing up to the music, using her body as part of the choreography. Second tumbling pass. It's a double back, nice and high, solid landing. We were told that she has over 100 fans here cheering her on. She's from Aiken, South Carolina. They've made the trip. And as an athlete, that can go either way. It can be a motivator, or with all those eyes on you, it can add pressure. But for Grace tonight, she's handling it very nicely. Final tumbling pass on her final event tonight. A 2.5 twist. Steps out of it, dancing right into her ending. Cat double full. She's a presence here, just a freshman and so outstanding. She's the smallest member on this Georgia team, but she pops this opening pass up, whip to double pike. Nice height and a strong landing. And for Grace, power and flexibility go hand in hand. She's ambidextrous. Take a look. That first leap is on one leg, then she does a 180-degree split on the other leg. That's rarely seen by a gymnast.
Equally effective with your left and your right, and an effective 9.95 for Grace Taylor. There's Cassie Price, the heralded freshman from Alabama. She's got to come through on beam, Lori, because they've already had a fall in this event.
And that means that's a lot of pressure on just a freshman athlete, but she has proven herself all year long. She's the #1 ranked all-arounder. But keep in mind, tonight, she hasn't competed in the all-around. They held her out of that floor lineup to rest her leg. Sometimes with all-around athletes, that can take you out of your rhythm. Leap series, switch leap to a split jump quarter. Coming here, back handspring layout, and she's off. She was most definitely crooked. She must get back up on the beam and finish this routine as if the fall never happened. Huge learning experience for her. Solid.
And there's the dismount, Lori. What happened?
Cassie looks a little conservative on this back handspring layout. She definitely comes up crooked on the layout. Her chest is low. That's 5/10 deduction. Alabama must count a fall now. And the unfortunate thing here is that Cassie hasn't fallen all year on beam.
That puts Alabama in a deep hole. Can Taryn Humphrey dig them out? Final routines when we come back. The judges await the final routines of this Alabama-Georgia meet. Here's the Gym Dogs' Katie Heenan on the floor.
Katie has won 5 of 6 all-around titles this year, and once again, she is leading the all-around tonight. The interesting thing is, though, she's getting some tough competition from one of her teammates, Courtney Kupets, who's competing in the all-around for the first time this season. Courtney's the defending national champion. Talking about a little friendly competition amongst teammates.
Courtney scored a 10 earlier, of course, on bars.
Katie looking for a big score here, front double twist. She actually normally adds a front tuck out of that front double twist. There won't be a deduction there. It's still quite difficult. Choice that she made, front full to a front layout half.
Georgia with a big lead going into this final competition.
Georgia's on their way to a huge score tonight. Not only a win, but a big-time home score. Seems like Alabama always brings the best out of Georgia. They're competing as if this is a championship.
Katie's already scored a 9.925 on the floor this year.
Final tumbling pass, and all-around titles on the line. She needs a solid one here to put up a big score, and it's a good one. Double pike. Big-time personality, big-time gymnastics, the go-to girl for Georgia. Katie Heenan, outstanding.
Another look as we await the judges' score.
Most likely a split-second decision by Katie in this opening pass, not to add the extra front tuck right there. Still, she gets the clean landing and a strong routine.
A 9.9 for Katie Heenan, and Suzanne Yakin couldn't be more proud. To Taryn Humphrey, the silver medalist in the 2004 Athens Olympic Games, up on beam for Alabama.
Alabama's already counting a fall. They've had two. They can drop one. They must count the other. Showing off originality. That mount is named after Taryn. An athlete can get a skill named after them if they competed at the World Championships or the Olympics. And they are the first one to perform it. Full twisting back handspring. A little bit crooked there. Normally she connects it to this tumbling pass right here. Back handspring layout. Huge difficulty. She's showing off her experience there. She knew she was crooked coming out of the full twisting back handspring, and she didn't risk connecting those elements.
Oh.
But she's off there.
Another fall for Alabama.
Huge disappointment for this Alabama team. Sarah said over and over again, we are young. This is going to be a valuable learning experience for this young team. They will head back to the gym and learn from this experience. And I, without a doubt, believe that they will be doing some extra numbers on the balance beam. It's been a struggle for them all year, and again tonight against Georgia. 3 falls on the balance beam for Alabama.
What happened here, Lori?
Front tuck, you could see from her landing, it's a 4-inch wide beam. She landed on the corner. Not only does that hurt the feet, but it is so difficult to maintain your balance.
A disastrous beam event for the Alabama Crimson Tide. 3 falls during this event. And that's reflective in the scores here, Lori, as we see.
One bright light for Alabama was Casey Overton, a very inexperienced athlete with a 9.875. But in the SEC, you cannot afford 3 falls and still get a win.
But how about a look at the other side of the spectrum? Courtney Coupette's absolutely flawless on bars.
And boy, did she get a perfect 10 in perfect style. The first perfect 10 for a Georgia Gym Dog since 2004 at the SEC Championships.
Look at that dismount. Everything perfect. And even her coach said it. And then on beam, a nice routine as well.
And the highlight of this routine was this most difficult dismount, an E-level skill, and she nails it. Huge routine for Courtney.
And here we are back to live action. Courtney Coupette's on the floor exercise.
Again, Courtney competing in the all-around for the first time this season. She's the defending national all-around champion, and Suzanne said she is at her best when she competes in the all-around. She is a rhythm gymnast. She likes to compete, all 4 events. Opening with a double Arabian, almost steps out of bounds, but holds it in within the line so they can step on the line, but not over. Now Courtney needs a 9.925 to tie Katie Heenan for the all-around title tonight. Anything higher than that wins this title. Front layout, front 1.5, a little difficulty right there. She lacked a little bit of power into the Rudy, the front 1.5. There will be a deduction. Courtney has struggled with plantar fasciitis, which is a strain or basically tendinitis of the tendon on the bottom of the foot. So she hasn't competed on floor since the beginning of the season. They've been resting her. And this is one of the most difficult events to get back in terms of your endurance. I'm sure for Courtney it's still a work in progress. Wow. And a work of art that looks pretty good right now. Double pike. Another great routine for Courtney, the defending national champion, but will it be enough to overtake her big-time teammate, Katie Heenan, tonight? Let's take a look at that opening pass, the double Arabian. You can see her looking for the line. She can step on it, but if she steps over, it's a mandatory 1/10 deduction. And the score, a 9-8-5. That means Katie Heenan takes home another all-around title.
Georgia absolutely on fire tonight against their top rival from Alabama. 3 9.95s on floor. And look at this, a 198, their highest score of the season, the highest score in the country. Let's go down to Lori, who's with Courtney and Suzanne.
Suzanne, you keep the winning streak alive against your #1 rival, and with great fashion, and I'm not talking about your patent leather red pumps, but with a huge score tonight, a season high, and that coveted 198. How does it feel?
Wow, it feels great. You know, when Courtney got her 10 on bars, that was just a turning point for us. I feel like after that, we were just in our own world, competing in that little bubble on balance beam and floor exercise, the zone that everyone's after, and I feel like, you know, that was just the starting point, and we just continue that through the second half of the meet. So it felt great. I think we've reached our stride.
And Courtney, you come in this season with an even more difficult bar routine, and tonight you claim the first perfect 10 for a Georgia Gym Dog since 2004, and your first career perfect 10.
Yeah.
How does that ultimate accomplishment feel?
It's just amazing because I did say, you know, before I leave college I want to score a 10, so, you know, I'll have to make a new little goal for myself. But it was more the routine that I did. You know, I actually did the routine like I like to do it instead of, you know, it's good, but it's here and there, so it was actually more the routine, just nailing it like that, that makes me more excited about it.
A very well-deserved 10, and another first for you was competing in the all-around. As the defending national champion, how does it feel to be back in the all-around game?
Oh, amazing. You know, it was kind of rough at first, not being able to do all four, but, you know, I did have an injury, and, you know, you gotta rest it. You know, Suzanne helps me with that a lot. You know, I want to keep going all the time, but you gotta rest it when you're hurt, and so I'm finally coming back into it, which is amazing. Thank God.
Congratulations. And Suzanne, a huge success for the Gym Dog team, and this team will certainly be on a high. Where do you go from here?
We got to learn to stick some vaults. You know, there's always places that you can improve, and, you know, I tell the girls the same thing every week. It's not what we do in competition, it's what we do on Monday and Tuesday. When we get back, that's what will determine how great a team we are at the end of the season. So they'll enjoy the win today and the big score for sure. We don't even have a team meeting till Monday, and then we'll start picking it apart and work on the things we need to improve.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy this big win, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Back to you, Corey.
Thanks so much, Lori. A historic night at Stegman Coliseum. Glad you were here to enjoy it with us. The final score, Georgia Gym Dogs 198, the Alabama Crimson Tide 196.050. Thanks for joining us. For Lori Strong-Ballard, I'm Corey Kessler. We'll see you next time.